So, first of all, thank you everybody for joining us today. This is our 140th webinar with Women for Solutions, where we create awareness, we connect, we learn, we inspire to recreate, to reimagine our world towards a caring economy. I'm Laura Giadorou, Koch, founder of Women for Solutions, a global network of thousands of women entrepreneur in over 40 countries that share simple and effective solutions towards a caring economy. Today, the topic is amazing. It is a celebrating breathing day because what is the most important thing for us human? Breathing. Without breathing, after a few seconds, we're dead. So we need to celebrate breathing in a big way. And our speaker today, our amazing friend, Viola Edwards. She is founder and CEO of Grit Academy. She's internationally well known as for many awards she has she was given, owner of two social-driven business and personal and corporate advisor. She's also a psychotherapist, a system breakthrough trainer, humanitarian, and author. You must read all her books. Her recent books are the best on breathing and Who Makes Our Bed. She pioneers mental health, fitness, and wellness in the workspace for more than 30 years, since the 90s. No, I didn't mean you're 90 years old. I mean, you're amazing. Viola, your track record, you look so youthful, and you have such a long track record of real advising clients internationally and locally, and really to help develop through your initiative, Grit Academy, women and men to become their best selves. She's a private consultant and public sector organization leader and sits in various boards. And she sits in Women for Solutions board that we are very proud of all her incredible power. She also, for more than 4 decades, it has an incredible array of commitment to make this world a better place. And through breathing, we will hear Viola. Thank you, Viola, for joining us today. And please tell us, how did you start this amazing journey about breathing? You're muted, Viola.
Follow me. Let's start. From your nose, take a deep breath without being hurtful, or you don't have to move all your body, just calmly but deep. And I will ask you to keep your eyes open, because I'm working around the world how we're going to enter to relationship and to new countries and to new eras with our eyes open. So take an inhale. And then when you exhale, let it drop without any effort. Just let it be long, nice. It's like you have all the time of the world to let go, because you know there is more for you. So that's the best way how you can enter to this world, is when you observe how is your breathing and what you can do with it, so you can keep it expanded, great, and keep the smile in your face. With Dr. Ella Manga, we did a whole booklet about BQ, the breath intelligent. 10 different variety items where you can check how you're breathing, and 10 different exercises of how you can improve it. This is in the immediate. So Laura have the access to this booklet, and also you can have it from my website, but Laura have all the permission to give it to everybody who entered to Women for Solution. So they have the access to this booklet in English and in Spanish. So entering to this consciousness.
Thank you, Viola. You actually gave it. We gave it to all our constituency as a Christmas gift this December, and
Yes.
at least 300 people opened it during the vacation. So I know many people have read it. It's an amazing book. So I recommend everybody to read it.
Yes, and thank you. And the other thing is to learn then, and today we are celebrating the World Breathing Day. And I have the honor and the, because she's so busy today, to the woman who's behind and around this World Breathing Day, which is my dear colleague Veronique Pater. And we both belong to an organization called International Breathwork Foundation. And through the organization Breathwork Foundation, this is the second year that we're celebrating the World Breathing Day. And the one I'm going to give, I'm going to answer your question, but I know we have a program of 24 hours rolling, and maybe Veronique will not be able to be with us all the time. So I would like to welcome Veronique, and thank you so much for opening the space to be with me and Laura here today, and with all the Women for Solution, and tell us about today what we're doing around the world. And I know Veronique, I met her in 1999 in south of Spain. Veronique is from Belgium, but her heart is in Spain. And we become friends since then, and we're colleagues and we work together in many different areas. And she's an amazing breathwork trainer, and at service with the breath through the International Breathwork Foundation, through her family. And I have to tell you, in 1999, Sebastian, her son, was in my arms, and he grew into the conscious connected breathing. And when I see him now, how he is, and how all this family, her husband and her two kids, just modeling what is a great family when we have consciousness about the breath. Welcome, Veronique.
Thank you, Viola. Thank you very much. And thank you, Laura, also. Well, it's an honor for me to be here and to know a little bit more about this. Just by the title of Women for Solution, it feels, the energy feels really powerful. So I'm glad to be introduced also to this powerful network that you are having. So World Breathing Day, you know that the United Nations are having a lot of celebrations day throughout the year. And within the international breathwork community, we already kind of celebrated the day for breathing since many years ago. But because our organization is now has a special consultative status with the United Nations and with the ECOSOC, we realized that we wanted to be more active concretely with the breath in different areas where we could impact the well-being, the self-esteem, the health, and all of what breathing can do for us, which is so much, with this simple and yet very powerful gift that life gave us. So for in the last 4 years, we've been working quite a lot to spread the importance of breathing, and there are a lot of businesses, networks, and initiatives all over the planet. And we would like really, we're gonna work this year especially to have this day recognized as part of the United Nations calendar, international days. And therefore I think everybody, each of us is breathing, and each of us is breathing the same air in a way, even though we are in different parts of the planet, but we all know that we are connected. I think breathing is, of course, with COVID, has been really challenged this year. And I think more than ever, people are aware of the importance of what breathing is giving us, not only for the health, but also for the mental health, for the well-being, for our emotions, for freedom, even for feeling alive, no? And
And
so
as
that's
you
what.
said, Veronique, sorry to interrupt you. As you said, this is the one thing that includes equity, diversity, and inclusion. So it's for everybody. Nobody should be left behind from knowing what is it, the power of the breath and the right to breathe consciously. And this is what we're working about, you and me, in the IBF UN group that we have. And it's fantastic to be here with Laura, because Laura has a lot of experience also working with UN, and hopefully will join forces to get together, because togetherness, we're going to achieve it, as the 17 goals said, not leaving anybody behind, and togetherness we will achieve the goal. So this is why it was so important that you are here with us today, and please stay a little bit more, and we'll keep between you and me answering Laura's question. What do you think? Stay until you can, so don't worry if you need to go. Okay?
No problem, I'm here.
Okay. Okay, Laura. So for me, when you're asking me how we go into these words, so we go into this word now, going into International Breathwork Foundation, Rebirth International, many other organizations, the GBPA, which is the Alliance for Professional Breathworkers, and all of us, we are linked because, again, togetherness. So what we do, if wherever you are in the world, there must be some practitioners in your area. So you go into the IBF and look for the practitioner and connect any of them, or go into newsletter and start reading, or connect me through Laura or directly to me to ask me any question apart from the booklet that you will, if you need, just text us and we will send you that booklet. But the most important thing is beyond what you learn theoretically is to practice. Because remember, as my sister Layla says always, every time you acquire a new habit through practice, an old habit that you don't need anymore will have to go away. So here, the conscious connected breathing is not only about knowledge. It's not just a book that we're reading. It's the practice. It's to go and to practice it, the different exercises, and also if you want to dive further, as I did, as Veronique did, is to go and do 10 sessions, a whole cycle with a professional. There you will learn, first, how is your breathing? How is your system working? Two, how is it that it gets so inhibited? What was that had blocked the breathing? I know that everybody will say we breathe, but how do we breathe? So I always tell you, you have to imagine that you have 1 million, 7 million, $10 million, whatever millions is for you enough, big, under your mattress, there making a bump so you cannot sleep well, and you're fighting to be able to pay your minimum expenses. This is what happened when your breathing is dysfunctional. You have that thing there, but you don't know how to use it. So our role as breath worker is to guide you kindly, safely, and lovingly, that you break the barrier of this limitation and you go into your ability and capacity to breathe as much as you can, for you, for your family, and for the community, and for the planet. Because a happy person, a joyous person, a person who really know how to use their resources will be at service much more efficient than somebody who's working half machine, as I used to be before I knew about this technique. Yes, Laura.
Thank you. That was really beautiful. But we really want to know, what was your aha moment that really led you to start looking into breathing, breath work? Because there are millions of psychologists out there, but you are unique because you combine the importance of the body and the breath with your psychotherapy. And really, I think that if you don't combine the mind, body, and soul when you help a person to improve or to change, I think you have a very good combination there.
Yes, because the conscious connected breathing method or process can be done as a solo therapeutical process, if you are trained as therapist, of course, because it's a somatic therapy, or also can be add on to another treatment you're doing. Yeah. So we have different level of breath workers, breath workers, breathwork mentors, and breathwork therapists. So it depends what is the training you have. I prepare for you something. I'm going to read here for you. Conscious connected breathing is a somatic therapy too. An hour-long session with the rhythm of the breath used in this technique influences neural activities, enhances memory recall, and expands emotional awareness. It helps to release suppressed blockages from the autonomic nervous system. The release of physical tension is the first effect, and the reframing of the past and negative experiences is the second, completed by an integration of the self. It can be used as stand-on alone therapy or an add-on to any other treatment. Breathing is a life-sustaining activity that we practice instinctively from the moment we are born until the moment we depart, we die. Conscious connected breathing can also create access to what we call altered state of consciousness, often leading to the experience of bliss and transcendence. So when we talk about these, and remember, we talked a lot about this, Laura, about how the body keep its score. So that means that many times when I have a loss, when I have a grief, when I have a shock, or when I grow up with people who had a dysfunctional breathing, and this is how I learned from them as a child. And even though through different type of therapy, I understood and maybe I changed certain habit, but sometimes there is the memory of that in my body. For that, personally, I call it a somatic therapy. Because when we go into the process of breathing in this way, 1 hour long session, 1 hour, 10, 40 minutes, etc., it allows, especially if you already have done therapeutic work, it will allow the cleansing, the hanging on of the physical memory of that episode that was traumatic, painful, or whatever we can call it according to the circumstances. So in that sense, you could be doing your therapy with your therapist, psychotherapist, or whoever you're doing, or a doctor, and alongside you can also do the process of conscious connected breathing. Because it's systemic, yeah? All is connected with all, as you know. You know a lot about systemic, Laura. Yes, I'll hear you. Laura?
Yeah. Most interesting thing here, Viola, is that breath is very connected with our with all our nervous system. So how we breathe, we feel emotionally. How we breathe, we feel our body. And so, tell us a little bit. How does a deep abdominal breath affect our psyche, affect our body, and that's in a normal situation, and how will it affect it if we are trained, and in a situation of stress we can actually change the psychosomatic issues that are happening.
Okay, I'm going to start. I'm going to ask Veronique to complete. We have a colleague in IBF that said that the diaphragma, the diaphragma,
Diaphragm.
yeah, is our second heart, isn't it, Veronique? She said is our second heart. She said, she wrote an article very beautiful about it and how many breaths we do in a day. And forgive me, Veronique, that I don't remember the name now. Is Lillian? No, okay. But I know it's you. I know who you are, but now I don't have your name. So and how important is to revive that part of our body. When I start breathing, when I start the conscious connected breathing, I was a chain smoker. I used to smoke from 3 to 5 pack a day. When I arrived there, I was like, I was very young, in my early 30, even though I have stopped smoking and I was, doing many things for my health, but I had this like very shallow breath. But of course, I was dynamic. I would work and study and dance and you name it, not to talk about all these here, but I was limited. Yeah. When I start the exercises at the beginning, it hurt. It like is an area of my body that I didn't use for so long. I would say, what is it? What is it? It hurt. But and they will tell me, no, it's not hurt, it's unused. It's kind of seems hurting, but it's unused. And it took me days to really days and exercises to be able to manage that the air. I want you to imagine now is you have to imagine that all that is yours, everything is yours, But also not only here is how can you feel the air, and also in double is like you are here and also here, from a shallow breath that I used to be like that, how slowly that start coming in, and all my body will vibrate. Because you know what, at night, if you don't have a respiratory problem, at night you will breathe fully because you're disconnected from your emotion, from your belonging, from your fear. In some moment at night, you are breathing like babies, unless you have emphysema or you have asthma or you have other things. Yeah. And is the ability to return to that, because you're going to clean first, you're going to practice how to do it, and secondly, through the mentoring and processing of therapeutical processing and mentoring, you're going to clear the path like big stone on your way to access that. Also, you will learn how to breathe from your nose, because we're so used to just not use our nose. Therefore, our brain and all these, how Christopher Gladwell call it, all these ending nerve in our brain don't get nurtured from the breath, because many people breathe only from the mouth. So we start learning from the nose. We start expanding the ability of our lungs and the diaphragm to be able to go, and that will increase our digestive system. It will increase the joy in our body. It will improve the circulation system, and is so basic because it's related to the autonomic nervous system. Veronique, do you want to add anything here?
Yes, because the diaphragm is one of the biggest muscle that we have in the body, and it's really interesting how we don't really know too much about this muscle, and it's like an umbrella. So it's kind of it's I'm gonna do like you, Viola. Although I've not have a, it's like of attached here, but when you breathe fully, it goes back to the kidney area. It goes down so that the lungs can fill themselves up to here. In fact, if you want to do the exercise right now, even though we continue to talk, you can put your hand here and breathe fully, and you realize it's going to expand.
Like an accordion.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Or you can put it here also.
You realize it's going to expand, and then you can play. You can put it there. You can put it in the over here. For example, I like when I'm in bed and I'm on my belly, then it's a position where you can, or if you do yoga and you are on the belly, it's a position where you can feel how the air go up to the kidney zone. And we know that it's such an important area where we usually have sometimes a little bit of pain there, no? But it's how we feel sustained, how we feel supported. It's going to be reflected in the lower back. And because a lot of women, we are always supporting the others too much instead of ourselves, sometimes we are more vulnerable, I guess, to have lower back pain. So the diaphragm is this muscle, and
Oh,
we
Veronica,
can
you
massage
had
it.
it. Okay.
We can massage it like this, all around. Behind, in the back, it's more complicated, but here we can massage it so that it's used to not be so tense. And it's going to be much more easier for the ones of us who know about the chakra and the solar plexus and so on. It's right there. So it's the more we massage it, the more we're going to be much more easily in our power, so to say.
So basically, what you're saying, Veronique and Viola, is that if we really learn uh, implement a habit of a deep breathing through using the full lungs through basically we are filling with our blood vessels, of the million of small blood vessels that are in the lungs, will be totally used, because I guess, Viola, you started with a very limited use of all your blood vessels in your lungs. So if tell us more about your experience, and Veronique too, about your experience, your practical experience of what happens with a patients where normal people do psychotherapy, but you include psychotherapy and breathing, and how do you implement the daily practice? Because I think one of the biggest problems we have is people love something, they do it for a few days, then they don't do it anymore, and that's our problem.
Yeah, it is. Look, it's true that our body hold the score, hold the trauma, but yet our body have the ability to also heal itself. So we need to understand that concept. Yeah. In our body, we still like, I used to walk, I used to be the same height as I am now since I'm like 12. Yeah. Everybody thought I'm going to be very tall, but actually I stopped there. So I used to be the taller of my friend group and think, plus I used to be a very sad child, like I lost my dad when I was 3. I lost my first country when I was 5, the second one when I was 13. And all that, I used to hold it in. So I had that habit to be, to be like this, like holding my. So what happened when I start learning about expanding the lungs and being able to breathe fully, even my body shape changed, because the body is capable of healing itself if we give the body the opportunity to be able to restore itself, not only mind command, also body command. So this is very important. So when we do let's imagine, we now in IBF also we have we have 2 or 3 programs that are very kind, very nice. One of them is recovery from trauma. And our colleagues went even to refugee camps to prove how to, not to do a whole therapeutical process, but to give tool to refugees to be able to feel better, to be able not to feel so trapped, the possibility to connect with life. Yeah. So in that sense, we can accompany another therapeutical process with some exercises that can make the process easier. Why? Now you have to imagine the brain, and imagine that where we hold the emotional bit that is so small, that limbical part of the brain, it's where, let's imagine a person have the phobias. Yeah. Now there is another part of the brain that is where is the logic and the understanding. If it will be an access from the logical brain to the emotional brain, we will have to have therapy only once in our life or twice, because I'm intelligent and you're intelligent, and you're my therapist will explain me that about my phobia and I will understand. The problem is there is no access. There is no access from the logic to the emotional one. So what do we do? What therapists we do? We do we learn, we train, and we do a big round from the logical brain to the creative brain to enter from the other side, and through metaphor and different knowledge and listening and so many things to be able to access that other part of our client. Yeah, is that idea clear? So what it was proven is that this process will be quicker, deeper, more dynamic if we add to it 3 major things, or one of 3 things: reading, art, or music. And from all of them that I have proven as a patient myself, because I told you in other meeting how troubled I was in my life, as a patient and also as a psychotherapist, the breath work is one of the most powerful that I have found, that accompany the psychotherapeutical process to make it quicker, dynamic, deeper. It's not either or. In some cases, it's both. And in some cases, we don't need therapy, but in some cases, it's both. Of course, there are
Yeah, and
some
also,
cases.
Viola, I mean, the breath we carry with us, we can't live without it. So art and music is beautiful to have, but sometimes is not as powerful, because when you are in a situation of a critical situation, or with depression, with any anxiety, anything, you can immediately grasp your breath and operate your breath. And Viola and Veronique, can you mention something about what type of breathing exercises and habits creation you give to your patients? Because I think that's very important.
I will answer you. I will let Veronique, but I want to complete what you said. The other thing about conscious connected breathing is give you a lot of autonomy and freedom. Let's imagine you just went to a breath worker to learn how to break free from limitation. After 10 sessions, 12 or 15, you take that with you wherever you go. You don't need to keep going. You keep going to learn more if you want, or or whatever you decide. But to learn the technique and to be able to do it by yourself, after these 10, 12 sessions, you're done. So it's for me that I'm a lover, as you know, of freedom. This is wonderful. That what took me in. Wow, something that I can learn and can take with me wherever I go. Of course, as we fall in love, we keep learning the rest of our life. But I wanted to complete my first contribution with that. And we call them client. We don't call them our patient, because we feel that we are all at the same level. I just know more about breathwork, and you know more about law, and the other one know more about engineering. So we are all leveled. We like, if literally we sit in the floor. Nowadays, I don't sit in the floor that much because, you know, my back is not that great, but it's like leveled. We are all learning, and I have the role of the giver, and now you have the role of the one who's receiving. Yes, Veronique.
Yeah, I really like everything you said. And one thing I know that we can also offer to the people is the 20 connected breath. We didn't do that yet, no, Viola? Or you did? Okay. But maybe you can do that after. Because what I like to offer to the people for their daily life, which is usually my passion, is to give tools so that people can use it anywhere. And that's the advantage of the breath, because it's anywhere, even at waiting for the metro in a city, you can use your breath. And something that's simple and that's effective at the same time. So one thing I like to teach the people is the importance of exhaling. The importance of exhaling as a real letting go. Now, when we live in a stressful environment like we have in our occidental society, usually people breathe very shallow, like they inhale and exhale here, and it kind of stops here. So the let go, the exhale is usually like this. I'm going to do it with the mouth because I'm talking. Even if I breathe slowly, still my exhale is shallow. And I like to teach people to really drop the exhale, almost like if I'm sending the air towards the earth, towards my feet, my legs, my pelvis, like really, boom, let it drop, no? And I like, I mean, Laura, you are reframing how do you say, a yawning, no? Almost, I see you doing that. Because what's amazing is that when you start doing that a little bit, you're going to see that your body wants more. And how is your body asking for more? Is by yawning or by doing a sigh of relief. So those two things are, so everybody knows about how to do that. Everybody knows about how to take a sigh of relief and well, this simple thing is just making how do you say, equilibrate, balance. It's balancing your nervous system. The stress and the relaxed system are going together. So it's very powerful to do that. So I would really encourage everybody to yawn as much as possible, to take a sigh of relief as much as possible, and to educate your peers, your family, your children, that it's okay, that it's very healthy to yawn, and it's very healthy to take a sigh of relief, and it's not like you're bored or anything. And then
Thank you.
maybe Viola, you can teach the 20 connected breath if you want, because I like
Yeah,
how you do it.
but before we go into actual practical things, I have some very burning question. Is that many like yoga and many other exercise type of exercises say only breathe from your nose, and others say when you exercise, breathe, exhale from the mouth. Can you tell us a little bit more about why one or the other, or whether we should always give prevalence to the nose rather than the mouth? Tell us
I
more.
would say there is so many breathing exercise as exercises there is. For me, when I learned from Leonard Orr, the one who created the conscious connected breathing, he used to say, because we are in connection and because we need to remember to use the nose, inhale from the nose and exhale from the nose, so there is no breaking of the connection. There is other exercises that we do it breathing in from the mouth, exhaling from the mouth, other yoga exercises or other breathing exercises that we inhale mouth, exhale nose, or inhale nose, uh, uh, exhale mouth. So I would say the one that I start teaching, I always tell them nose, 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 until I always say give the person the chance to learn how to use their nose again. And then after that, go and experiment. Mouse, 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 nose, nose, mouse, whatever, you know. So this is one of my major explanation, the why I insist that is nose, nose. And as I told you, you know, there's a first physical release, and then later there is connection with our emotion and thought, and then later is that integration of the aha moment. I I I remember once I was given a lesson and a whole introduction, and there were a person who didn't know any Spanish, yeah, and I needed, and she wanted so much to understand. She was German, but she didn't, you know, and we didn't have translators. So I started drawing, and since then I have a drawing of what happened in a session. So you have to imagine like a drawing like this, a peak like that, and kindly a dropping. And at the beginning of the session, the first 5-10 minutes, it's a little bit strange to breathe in a little, in kind of little accelerated way, like. So it's like at the beginning is quite mechanic. You're doing it as an exercise, but later there is an activation of your own process where it go and you have your own rhythm. And this is what we, as a breath worker, this is what we observe. What is your rhythm? This is what we read. What is your rhythm? And help you in a safe place to go through whatever you have gone. And that rhythm, wherever you have, it has a peak. If the peak is joyous, if the memory you connect with, if the connection you have is joyous, people describe it as a cosmic orgasm sometimes. They said, I have never felt that joy in my body, you know. If that memory is of, you catch a memory of the past of sadness or complication, also it has a peak that's strong, but we don't worry about it because it's revisited to be able to go, because this is what in the past we used to call rebirthing for this technique. Nowadays, because other group had taken that name for many other things. But what was the name? Why the name of rebirthing come? It was because through a session, you can connect to a situation that you now are connected with it from the adult space, not from the child weak or scared place. And as an adult, and because you're with somebody who's holding the space for you, you can rebirth to the other side of that situation, stronger, holding the vulnerability, but organically grown up with resilience. This is where the name of rebirthing comes from, how we can rebirth to a situation, because now we are getting through it from the level of the energy from our own breath. Nothing external, is only our breath. So this is quite an extraordinary. Uh, no wonder how we fall in love with it, Laura. You've been in our courses and you have. I still didn't do the whole thing with you because we cannot meet. We are in different cities and we didn't have the space yet to do it online. but it's marvelous. And today we are celebrating the Breathing World Day, and I want you to connect with your love for yourself, with your love for your body, with the love for the planet, by using your lung properly and understanding how beautiful organs they are to be able to be moved and at our service. And from here, we can also serve the outside world.
Viola, and Veronique, these are amazing words what you're saying. But I am a meditator for more than 20 years, and I sit down and meditate. And what for many many years I've meditated, but my mind was going crazy. And what I have found out in the last few years is that if I don't know how to breathe properly, and relax through my breath, I will never be able to meditate and achieve enlightenment. Because meditation is all about breathing properly. So tell us the impact your work does in then meditation and further enlightenment of the people.
Well, this is a very beautiful methodology that can be applied to everybody. There is few cases that we go with exercises, not the whole cycle. So, when your respiratory system is open and is function better, so your channels are better. Maybe like for me, there is some, especially now that I put so much weight on, there is some position like the loto and the semi-loto. I cannot do it properly anymore without cushion here and there. But I find the way how I can sit properly, comfortably for myself, and my breathing is open. It's like it circulates, so we enter to meditation much easier. That's one thing. The other thing is that when I think I want to show you this, we talk a lot about stress, and then in our program we teach the differentiation, what is stress, what's creative tension, and how if you manage to keep control about the situation, still not stress, etc. But I want to tell you something. In life, many times you're obsessed, you're upset, you're frustrated because there is a situation and there is you, and you're not in agreement with that situation. Is a loss, is an injustice, you name it, yeah? And if we keep like this, just holding the breath, we cannot go further. When you start breathing consciously, this happen in your brain. Look what's happened in all your system. You start seeing possibilities. You start seeing more possibilities, more possibilities. And the same situation that you were blocked with, suddenly you become like cleverer because your body is nurtured, and you can see how many possibilities we have. Maybe none is what you wanted, yeah, but you have 30 more possibility than before, and you need to understand that. I show you this because you need to remember me with this hand fan, because this is what happened when your brain get oxygenated and when your lungs get activated. There is, while there is breath, there is life, and while there is life, there is infinite possibilities. And that I take it to the couple, to the person in therapy, to the couple counseling, to the family business, to the NGO, to wherever I am, because this is the same message to wherever we are. The arena changed, but the message is the same. Let's find way. Let's breathe. Let's find ways. Let's find the way with the minimum waste possible for all the ones that are involved in that situation. And first, we have to take care of the self to be alive.
Thank you, Viola. That was beautifully said. And Veronica, you would like to add something? We only have 10 more minutes
Yeah.
left before the hour, and I would love to hear from both maybe some closing words about the message you want to leave, and maybe do the exercise that you mentioned.
Yeah, I would like to leave, probably because you were saying before, it's true that yoga is doing this and this, and in different practices you have different kind of exercise, and some are talking about belly breathing and chest breathing and so on and so on. And so sometimes people get a little, I'm talking now for not for us but for the audience, no, sometimes you get like kind of confused, no. So if we can go back to one way of just making it simple, it's like going back to our natural, the natural mammifer, or that natural way we could breathe as a human being, but as an animal also. When I look at my cat, for example, when he's sleeping, if you look at a baby of around 1 year old is the one that's breathing with much less blockages as that we have. So the way they breathe is like the whole, if this is the body, like you have chest and belly, the whole body is breathing at the same time, like one piece. No? And it's just go like this opening and expanding and coming down. If you imagine a cat, a dog, and if you have a chance to look at them, or a small child, they're going to breathe like that. Or when someone is sleeping, they breathe like that. So my personal attraction or passion into the big world of breathing is to go back to this natural way. And one way I do that also is to teach breathing instead of doing belly, chest, or anything, or counting. I'm just doing, imagine that you're breathing the air right in the middle, right here in your heart. Imagine the air is entering here. And if I imagine that, automatically the whole body, it's gonna breathe. Anyway, that's my final world. It's like going back to our natural, no blockage, fluidity. Because the way we breathe ultimately is the way we live. So it's better to fix how we breathe than to fix how we live, because sometimes it's too much.
Indeed.
For you, Viola.
Thank you. So let's do 20 conscious collected breathing. That is an old exercise, again, remaining from Leonard old time. And we use it. Have you ever heard, it's in your culture, there is that thing that said, don't answer, count 10 before answering if you are upset or you are, yeah? Do you have it in your culture? So we, no, contesta 10, cuenta hasta 10, don't answer, count to 10. So we changed that to breathe to 20. You know, there is a problem, there is something you need a space, just breathe 20. So we're gonna do 20 conscious connected breathing, and we're gonna do like 4 short, 1 long, and that is 4 set of these, 4 short and 1 long will make 20. So let's do at least one of those and see how does it go. I'm gonna be counting. Okay, so again from the nose, inhale and exhale. The short is gonna be more from this part, yeah, and the long is gonna be more from this part. Imagine the long one, you're breathing from your feet, just imagine. So let's do 1. I'm gonna mark you with my fingers, and you breathe in and you breathe out from the nose without pause. Okay, shall we do? Let it drop, and again. Last one. Long, 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 long inhale and let the exhale drop. And when you think that it drop, all of it drop a little bit more, empty a little bit more, and relax. And that use it anytime. Now I make it with noise so you can hear me, but we can do it in a meeting. For example, in a meeting, you can be talking and I can focus on that. But I'm focusing in my breathing, yeah? 4 short, 1 long, and I give myself time to think, to observe. You know, Laura is my trainer in a new concept of, well, not that new, but it's a concept of a coaching system called non-flict. And the non-flict is basically how really solve it, the conflict, even without going there. And we learn so many things about it and the different way of how people deal with conflict and what to do in the process of coaching to release the situation. So imagine the breathing is when we are in that situation, that we're clear that we want the non-flict, yeah? But we cannot escape from the conflict. We just don't want to dwell on it. We just don't want it to break so many things inside of us and outside of us. So my whole work as a psychotherapist and breath work and mentor and training in mentoring, in coaching and breath work is about how to minimize the impact of loss. Because everything we have lost and we have things broken, we need to fix something. So let's use our energy to build. But that doesn't mean that we have to hide the conflict, doesn't mean that we don't have to recognize the injustice, doesn't mean that I have to be good all the time in peace and love all the time. No, I'm a human being. I vibrate with the word of the emotion, but I don't get stuck in the emotion. I am alive, I am awake. And when a situation of injustice, of loss, I have to deal with it as an adult, accompanied by the breath and by the mentoring. I will not do it by myself. If it's bigger than me, I will use the concept of consultancy. Whatever I could not do happily, easy, organically nice by myself, I go and ask consultancy from other, being a lawyer, an engineer, a therapist, a doctor, a mentor, a breath worker, etc. So this is the concept that we're working to have less waste, to be more inclusive, to be more in equity with ourselves, because this is what Laura and me and Veronique and all of you, we are working hard and smart to take the world to another level. So we need to start with the self. And I can stop here maybe. We have 1 minute to finish, so perfect timing.
Well, thank you very, very much. This has been truly an amazing introduction and deep learning also, because you said some very important things. Breathing is so easy. So why is it that we are not taking it further? And I think that you mentioned during the talk about the SDGs, the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, the UN, and everybody wants to really work on this world to become a better world, and to have. We need to start from the basics of breathing, where everybody breathe consciously. And I love that concept that your NGO organization about International Breathing Day is so important, because if we were all very familiar of how to breathe, we will not get into big fights or conflicts, because we will always be connected with our breath. And so, on that, before I want to let Veronique and Viola say some closing words.
Yeah, I want to tell you that tomorrow we are having another one like this with Laura, and hopefully I don't know if Veronique can be in Spanish for our Spanish speaking public. So we're gonna have at the same time, isn't it? We will
Yeah.
publish it, I think, at the same time, which will be 5 p.m. European time, 6 p.m. for me, and 11
And
for the East for New York. Yeah. So we're
it's in
having
New
a
York
whole
time
Yes. So
in
our
Spanish.
celebration will continue until tomorrow, that we will have one in Spanish. Laura, I thank you for all what you do for women. And I didn't explain to Veronica that Laura does so many things but we will talk about it, and all your program of all what you do for equity, for inclusion, for diversity. I have learned so much. You are, I say it publicly, you are my gift of this COVID time. And you're my sister, my darling sister of this time, that this is how you and me will learn how to make a very challenging time in a great opportunity that we bonded as sister, and we're doing so many things together into the world. Thank you so much for Women for Solution. You really, really create amazing solution for the world. And I want to thank my darling sister Veronique, friend, for so long, that we still laugh and make like this when see each other, for being here with us today, and for all what you're doing with the team for celebrating the World Breathing Day. Thank you.
So a
Thank you.
little bit of word, if I can. We are also having a project of breathing with parents and teacher. And because women, we are also mother, whether we are mother directly or not, doesn't matter. We are mother of our project and of the world anyway. I think it's important. We can really change the world if we are teaching the practice of breathing at school in the early ages. So we have that also in our platform. And in I don't know, in 1 or 2 hours or something like that, if you go into our website or in our Facebook, we have conscious breathing in the classroom, presenting some tools for how to manage the breathing with the children in this COVID time. So
Ah, beautiful.
yeah,
So is in the website of World Breathing Day, in the, sorry,
the
in the Facebook
website
of
of
World Breathing Day, is gonna be transmitted, yeah?
yeah, it's the website of
Fan-
World Breathing Day in the event part. And I don't know where we are, but in Central Europe, it's at 8:30 p.m. this
Okay.
afternoon.
So in one
Fantastic.
hour and a half. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
basically, this has been a really inspiring webinar. I think this is exactly what we want to do in Women for Solution, that is bring solutions that really enhance and create consciousness, because only then we can really move forward towards a more equitable and peaceful world. So through Women for Solution, why four? The first is that we need to create awareness and of the importance of the visibility and value of the care of the environment. And the second one is the visibility and the value of the work of care, because the work of care, meaning the healthcare workers, the mothers, the people who take care of the sick, the elderly. The third point is the importance of early education. And Veronique, as you mentioned, is so important to teach kids early on um, a emotional intelligence. And the fourth point of our pillar, of the four pillars of Women for Solution, is metrics. Because if we measure what we do, we can actually change it, and we can actually make improvements. So, on that note, I would like to thank deeply Viola, because you have become my sister. Whatever you said about me is absolutely the same from my side to you. So, our lives have been entwined forever, I can see. And Veronique, I hope we can also embrace our friendship going forward. And thank you, everybody, for joining this call. This has been a really very interesting call, and we're all on for our next our next webinar tomorrow in Spanish on the same subject, and in a few weeks on the history of gender equity. Okay, so on this note, thank you very much, and we're going to close the call for everybody. Thank you very much.